Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. This is Reservations, and I'm Rain Whalen.
And I'm Sleepy Gary.
Dude, one of, I think, the best side characters that Rick and Morty ever introduced in a single episode.
Yeah, agreed. Also, I'm wearing pajamas. I'm wearing my pajamas.
Yeah.
It's late, so.
Dude, Sleepy, dude, and because that's the whole backstory bug or whatever.
Yeah.
And Sleepy Gary and Jerry have had this like whole life together.
Yeah.
That Jerry thinks has happened. Dude, Sleepy Gary's the best. You know, I was kind of hoping that maybe you'd go for another, like, you know, and I think the moon landing was fake.
Yeah.
Or that's not an original thought. Stanley Kubrick definitely was on the moon when they were filming.
Like he went with him.
He was there. He was there. So, dude, you have a story to tell everyone, which I already know.
Yeah.
But I literally told you when you told me, I'm like, you have to open the show with this because it made me so happy.
Well, yeah. I mean, so it also makes me happy, but also I just feel so bad because like he had no idea, you know, and so it's another dad story. So my dad is again, he's watching these things that I'm really impressed that he's like taking the time to watch these things and he's like sticking to it. I recently, a couple of days ago, I watched Die My Love. Okay. I really, really liked it. It was great. But I remembered that my dad had seen it, right? And so as I'm watching it, I'm just thinking, I cannot believe he finished it. Like, this is not something my dad would really stick with. And so, like, he has just really impressed me lately. But, so he called me. He called me a couple of days ago. And he said, "Hey, man, have you seen the Twin Peaks movie?" I go, "Fire Walk with Me?" He said, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah, I have seen it. I really like it." And I said, "Did you watch it?" He goes, "Yeah. Yeah, I just finished it." I go, "Oh, okay. Have you seen the show?" He goes, "No. Should I start watching the show?" I'm like, first off, how confused were you? He goes, "Oh, I'm very confused. I have no idea what's going on." And so I'm like, "Okay. Yeah, bud. Okay." So I was trying to explain to him, you know, like, he goes, "Yeah, like David Bowie, what was his deal?" I go, "Oh, Philip Jeffries? I don't know." Uh, you know, and I'm like, you know, he comes back in The Return as like a steam-filled teapot, and then Dad goes, "Okay, I can't." I go, "Yeah, that didn't help. That wasn't helpful. I'm sorry." And I was just trying to explain, like, listen, this is a prequel, but also, like, you have to know stuff from the show to understand a lot of it. So, I mean, you already know who killed Laura Palmer, you know? And he's like, "So if I watch the show," I go, "Well, you also need to understand that the show is different. The show doesn't feel like this, right? The show is like
the show has Mark Frost keeping David Lynch in check."
Exactly. And so I'm trying to explain all this to him. And I'm having a hard time. And I go, you know, saying all this out loud makes me sound like a lunatic, but that's really how it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm explaining kind of like the Philip Jeffries thing. Like he's a teapot at the, you know, a big giant, you know, teapot. And, you know, saying it out loud makes me sound crazy, but I mean, that's, you know, that's the show. And he's like, "So the guy is the detective in the show?" I go, "Oh, Kyle MacLachlan?
Dale
Yeah,
Cooper?
he's like the main character in the show." He goes, "Okay. All right." I go, "Yeah." After a while, he kind of like
that's all
isn't,
he needs.
You know, after a while, he kind of just blends into the town, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
we all know that part of season 2.
and it's sort of like, he just becomes part of Twin Peaks, Um, and I explain, like, listen, you already know who killed Laura Palmer. If you start watching the show, they don't know yet. So, like,
He's gonna be so mad.
it's going to be a big surprise. Try to act surprised. Um, and then we switched gears, and he was like, okay, well, a lot of the videos I've been watching, about like what movies to watch, like they all say to watch Mulholland Drive. I go, yes,
Oh,
absolutely
yes.
watch Mulholland Drive. I can help you with that one. Like that's no problem. you know, like that has answers. You know,
Could you imagine if he was like, yeah, and they all say I should watch this movie Wild at Heart.
they all say I should watch Inland Empire. Should I give that a shot? I go,
And you're like,
oh geez,
oh fuck.
yeah. Um, and then we started talking a little bit about Down My Love. Um, and because he was a little confused about that one, and he was just like, God, it was so depressing. I go, yeah, and like
Yeah.
I
Welcome to
understand,
Lynn Ramsey's world.
yeah. And then we started talking about we need to talk about Kevin,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
because he didn't make it all the way through that one.
Really?
No, I told him maybe stick with it because it's like it's really interesting, and it's really cool, and I really like it. And here's a couple of ways to think about it and everything. But yeah, man, Dad is doing great these days. He's really putting himself out there, you know, in terms of what movies he's watching, and it's cool. And then I get phone calls like that, and then
Dude, like we were talking about off mic, I was at this really cool, like, kind of retro shop when you called me, and I had just got my hair cut. And so I'm like in there, just kind of looking around,
a
and you
little
call me and
itchy.
you tell me this. And dude, I was so happy. Like, I was genuinely, one, I was in this really cool shop with all these really cool action figures and VHSs, and they had a PlayStation 2, which I was like, you need to take a look at that. And then you tell me the story, and it made me just so happy, especially with the fact that your dad has never seen the show. So I'm like, oh, he dove in feet first, and dove in the way when I told Ashley when we started watching Twin Peaks together. Ashley was like, well, shouldn't we watch the movie first? And I was like, no, we you never start with Fire Walk with Me. And your dad was like, I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, well, I don't know because he gets a lot of his recommendations through like YouTube people, right? So he watches a lot of like these are my top 10 horror movies of last year. These are the top 10 horror movies that creep me out the most, or like these movies are like what I was like earlier in the season when he was watching all those insane extreme films, right? Like because he has so much time on his hands.
Yeah.
So he's just like, yeah, let's check it out. He's being very adventurous, and I respect that.
Dude.
You know,
dude, if he does start watching the show, he's gonna be so confused when he gets to the return.
Yeah.
Because even though Mark Frost is still involved with the return, that's all Lynch. Like,
yeah.
Mark Frost is more so to, I guess, save the crew from his wrath. I saw another behind the scenes video that came out of Lynch losing his mind, that they were filming some of the shots on a soundstage, and he got word that they only had 2 days to do it, and he was so pissed. He's like, "What? We're on a fucking stage? Are you kidding me? Like, if we were on location, that would make sense. But we're on a fucking stage." And he's like, smoking a cigarette.
Of course.
And you can hear like some poor PA, like, yeah, no, of course. He's like, so who this arbitrary person? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I'm sure Frost is over there like, oh God.
He's not there.
He's in the other room, like trying to convince him, like, please stop telling him what to do. I can't hear him bitch 24/7. Please.
Well, I'm just like,
let him.
I'm trying to remember like all of the like major Twin Peaks like things that are in Fire Walk with Me, to where like I would never be able to explain who the log lady is to him. Like
Yeah.
he didn't ask.
The log lady.
He didn't ask.
Or or the whole thing with the Packard Mill. and
Yeah.
Catherine's disappearance, and
Yeah, like I
dude,
can't really explain a lot of that only because like you just have to understand that it's like just quirky people in the town. You know? Like
mm-hmm.
you you would have had to build up to that. I was expecting him to say like, "Hey, and what's up with this like this freak of nature everyone's in love with James?" You know, I was expecting hey, everyone's in love with this bridge troll that rides a motorcycle. I don't understand.
Dude, I always forget James is in the fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he has to be. It's the last week of Laura's life. Oh my god,
Yeah,
dude.
he didn't say anything about James, and I was surprised.
That's fucking crazy,
This
dude. And when
human
he starts,
Lego minifigure is out here just
dude, and when he does start watching the show, and he's gonna get to that subplot of James who fucks off from Twin Peaks, and then has that like extramarital affair, and is gonna get blamed, dude. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
what is going on.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah,
The whole point of this was your dad also made me very happy.
yeah.
Uh anyway, with that being said, uh welcome back to the show, everyone. Here we are, our not only end of season series finale, but our season finale. Um dude, can you believe how long this season's been?
No, because I looked at like our first couple of episodes of the season. I was like, that was a long time ago.
I know, dude. I think excuse me. So like we started with Hidden Fortress, and that was,
That was a while ago.
dude, that
I,
was April 2nd.
I had that other job. Uh,
Yeah. we were working for the same
yeah,
company.
yeah.
Uh dude, this is almost rivaled, I think, season 7.
Mm-hmm. For like the
Where we were
longest
really,
time.
yeah, where we were really like, yeah, man, let's just go balls to the wall here. Like, let's see. Let's So season 7 was 40
That's a
episodes,
lot.
and we started it March of 2022, and we ended it exactly almost a year, March 1st,
Wow.
2023. Yeah. So this season has more episodes, but almost like 11-month gap,
Hmm.
because we started this in April of 2025, and we're going to be ending it February 2026. So
Yeah.
we're getting better. I think
Yeah.
it's because season 7, there was also a lot of breaks
A lot of breaks.
in season 7, and I think we only have taken like,
I hate
I think,
taking
3.
breaks. So,
Yeah, and I think we've only taken 3 this season. But yeah, man, it's. I think I said it when we started the end of season series. Like, I always get excited when we get to the end of a season, but also kind of bummed because, like, we've been having fun.
yeah, well, we're just one
It's kind
step
of like
closer to death.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
a bittersweet thing. Also, if anyone can hear clicking in the background, that's our washer. We don't know what's going on with it. So I apologize. But anyway, everyone, so to finish up this end of season series, again on Bruce Lee's greatest hits, this is, I'm gonna be honest, dude, this is gonna be kind of hard.
I disagree.
Oh, okay. I feel like it's just gonna be hard, just because in the sense of like everything we really need to touch on for this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, everyone, we are ending our end of season series with 1978's Game of Death, which is a very interesting movie in the sense that Bruce Lee's technically not in this fucking movie.
So I would say that, and like this is like, okay, if I could sum it up,
Okay.
Game of Death, I would say that it is borderline unwatchable.
Okay.
I
Now, why not? Now, why not fully unwatchable?
because the last 15 minutes are badass,
That's true.
you know?
That's true.
So, okay, I was excited to see how this would work, right? Bruce Lee has died. He has filmed a couple of scenes, and they're having to stitch things together. They're using archive footage. They're using footage from other films. They're using, whatever, and they have to mix it all together and then make this movie, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I start the movie because I'm
Mm-hmm.
expecting, sort of like, I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting maybe trying a little bit harder,
Okay.
because like, and there are moments where if I wasn't so upset about it, I would have laughed at it. Like when in the
Uh-huh.
beginning when they superimpose Bruce Lee's face
Dude,
on that actor, like that would have been
dude.
funny in another circumstance. But instead, I was insulted because I was like, what do you think we're idiots? Like, like, like Bruce Lee wouldn't have liked this movie very much.
No.
I certainly didn't. I did not like this at all. Um, the our Bruce Lee world did not end with a bang. It ended in a whimper, and this is that sort of death rattle.
Yes. Yeah. It's a little disappointing. But I guess I'm gonna try to give us a synopsis of
Good.
this fucking movie. So Game of Death follows, and I'm gonna use quotes here, Bruce Lee, um, playing a character named Billy Lowe, who's an actor, um, who's being poached by this syndicate mafia gang, who I guess are trying to control media and other facets, as a syndicate run by a bunch of Americans does, um, that are based out of Hong Kong. Um, and they are trying to get Billy on their side because Billy has become this big international star. Um, and so they really want Billy. But when he keeps pushing back, they decide to just kill him because if you're not going to help, if you're not with us, you're against us. Their assassination attempt does not go as planned. Billy goes into hiding and starts to methodically plan a revenge against the syndicate to take them down. And kind of picking them sort of off one by one, more so kind of getting rid of the muscle so he can make his way to the leader, Dr. Land, which is just the stupidest name for a syndicate leader. Anyway, he takes care of Carl, which is sort of like the main muscle, played by the same guy who played O'Hara in Enter the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
But when the syndicate kidnaps Anne, Billy's fiance, Billy is kind of forced to come out of hiding and takes them out. And then this is where we get Bruce Lee fighting through 3-level, initially Pagoda. We'll get to that later. And then ultimately winning each fight as he fights his way up, saving Anne, and Dr. Land falling to his death because he slipped on the roof. And that's Game of Death. Once again, I would say very reminiscent of earlier episodes in this story, earlier episodes in this series. The story is very straightforward. But I think the problem is, because now that you've said it, I mean, I didn't like the movie either. I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
I think the problem is they kind of overcorrected in the wrong direction, which is, I get that they were trying to show their love of Bruce by kind of recreating very iconic scenes from some of the movies we've already done with The Way of the Dragon and Fist of Fury. By kind of showing them a sort of, and I'm sure they wouldn't have used this term in 1978, but a sort of like a meta layering of like, oh well, these were actually movie. So I get that they were trying to like really honor Bruce by completing this project. But you're right, Bruce would have fucking hated this. Like the story, even though the story is simple, it is all over the fucking place. We have comedy where there shouldn't be comedy. We have like Billy Lowe is somehow an expert martial artist, but gets his ass kicked multiple times. Like it makes no sense. And I don't know what I was expecting with the use of stand-ins, but I thought it would look significantly better than what we just witnessed. They just put the guy in shades and shot him from angles and in shadows. And like, yeah, it looks like Bruce, right? Cool. Like, and it just, yeah.
So
it makes me mad.
Here's what I was expecting. I was expecting
Okay.
Bruce Lee to have shot more scenes. I thought that,
Yes.
he shot, way more than that.
Agreed.
And so, I'm about 45 minutes in, right? And I'm starting to look stuff up. I'm like, when the fuck is he gonna get here? Because this is crazy. Like, I mean, what are we doing? And it's like you can skip the first hour if you don't want Bruce, right? But then I'm over an hour in and he's still not there. And so it's not until 15 minutes until the movie's over, then we have the fight scenes, right? Maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, so you can skip an hour and 20 minutes, if you want to see Bruce Lee. And so then I started thinking, I was kind of drunk by this point. I was drinking while I was watching this movie.
I mean, you kind of have to be with this movie.
And so like I was thinking to myself, hopefully not out loud, I don't remember, but I was like, why didn't they just pull Enter the Dragon, pull it from theaters, have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar film some scenes as if he were in Enter the Dragon, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then splice it all together, because like it's not enough to build a movie off of what you have. What you have is more of a grand finale that you can tack on to another movie, make it a little longer, but have more fight scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then have go do reshoots, have Kareem there, right? And put him in Enter the Dragon, like, and have like a longer Enter the Dragon instead of a really shitty movie, which is what this is. Like, and even the stock footage they're using, they didn't even bother to re-edit the footage. Like, they didn't color time it or anything. Like, it's just raw footage, that doesn't match.
Yeah, and that's such a good segue, because I was like, the yellow jumpsuit is so iconic. When and how are they going to pull that off? And they were just like, okay, so he attacks one of the bikers that we've already established wears this yellow jumpsuit, and then he swaps clothes. Because so here's the other thing. So I'm going to kind of give everyone a second synopsis. Bruce Lee's initial the Game of Death, not Game of Death, the Game of Death pitch was that his character, the name was actually going to be, oh shit, hang on. I had it up. That's the fucking wrong fucking thing. There we go. It was going to, his name was actually, I think it was like Hyan Tian or something like that.
Okay.
But his brother and sister were kidnapped by by a Korean syndicate, so they kind of kept that element. And he was initially, kind of reluctant to excuse me, to like go after them, but then that's when they kidnap his family. And then when excuse me, everyone, what was originally going to happen was he was going to go to this pagoda. There we go. A pagoda, and fight 5 levels. And the big pitch for Bruce's Game of Death was this is where he was going to stuff the film with his Jeet Kune Do style of adapting against your fighter. And so what they'd filmed 35 minutes of usable footage where he fights level 3, 4, and 5, and Kareem was the 5th level. Kareem was like the big one. But when Bruce didn't have a full finished script. And they hadn't filmed fights 1 and 2. And then that's when they had to pause production, because that's when he got cast for Enter the Dragon. And so essentially what Golden Harvest did is they took that 35 minutes, trimmed it down to 7, and then built a whole new movie around that. And again, I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to honor Bruce, especially getting Robert Klaus, who directed Enter the Dragon, getting one of the other producers from Enter the Dragon to be involved in this. And so I get it. I get that they were trying to finish their friend's final movie. What they should have done is just kept that 30 fucking minutes and built around the 30 minutes. Because all they would have had to do is add on an hour. And that's all they would have had to do. Or do what Criterion did and just release the 30 minutes and give us the exposition of what we're about to see.
No, yeah.
And then that could have been it.
I agree with that, because like having to work backwards and like, because I felt it. I felt watching it. I go, they're shoehorning these biker guys in there because we need to explain the suit. You don't need to explain the suit. It's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, you don't have to work backwards like that. It's fine, you know? I actually did not like, well, it actually makes it seem like, it's like, well, actually,
you liked something.
Yeah, no. I did not like the actor element of it all. I thought it kind of cheapened Way of the Dragon a little bit, using that, right? Because like the opening credits, which reminded me of James Bond credits, the opening credits like said like Chuck Norris. I was like, oh hell yeah,
dude. I was like, oh shit,
Final.
And no, it's just because they used that footage and they had to credit him.
Mm-hmm. Now,
dude,
I agree with you that would have been my second option, was to just release the fight scenes. Like, just release what you have, or don't,
or don't, yeah.
It's completely up to you, but I wouldn't have made a whole movie around that.
Agreed.
Because like, it's not going to be nearly as good. The fight choreography was terrible, it's boring. Because they're not good.
Yeah.
Like, they're not as good. Are they better than me? Of course. But we're comparing things to Bruce Lee, who's the best,
To the other 4 films we just saw, even The Big Boss, Bruce got to choreograph his fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could, it was night and day. And, You're right. I feel like it cheapens a lot of things. And again, I'm sure that was not their intention,
Maybe not.
but I would hope not.
I
I
don't
would
know.
hope the intention was to honor Bruce, to complete this project that he was very passionate about, because apparently this was going to be his second film that he got to direct, which would have been rad.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. You're right, because they explain so much, like, and they reuse shots, like you were just saying, from like The Way of the Dragon, to explain him being in a different outfit, like when he fights Carl. We already saw the stand-in in makeup. We don't need a shot of Bruce from Way of the Dragon in that same outfit to explain, like, oh, that's why he's dressed like that now.
Yeah,
Like,
and I didn't like the stock footage, because if you're not going to change it to at least fit the cinematography, to fit the lighting, like, then it's so out of place, and it just feels
agreed.
like, I don't know, it doesn't feel cohesive. It doesn't pass the Kuleshov effect by any means. Okay. That was a nerdy film studies reference, but yeah, the Kuleshov effect, you should look it up. It's really cool. It's where a shot that precedes the previous defines it, right? So in a way, so it's like, or forward, it's the shot that follows the first shot defines the second shot, right? So like, what the Kuleshov effect was they had this actor, and they said, this is an acting exercise. Can you see the subtle differences in his acting? And then it would show like a plate of food, and then it would cut to the actor, and then it would show a seductive woman, and it would cut back to the actor, and then it would cut to like some horrific scene, and then it would cut back to the actor, right? The point was, the actor, it was the same shot every time, right? But people saw different emotion in his face from the previous shot, right? Because it defines it, right? It's, yeah. Anyway, it doesn't work here. Like, it doesn't flow. It's like a completely different, you know what I mean? I can't explain it besides it was bad. And it just didn't work, and I didn't like it. And like I said, superimposing his face onto that actor in the beginning of the film was outrageous.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think they did that. It felt like they just cut out Bruce's face and slapped it on the mirror, because they knew that the shot was, it was. I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Awful.
And
no work was done.
Like, look, I know this is an unfair comparison, but I was going to bring it up anyway. Let's take The Crow, for instance.
Okay.
Brandon Lee's final film. Unlike his father, he had completed about 90% of The Crow. So all they needed was a stand-in, his stunt double, and light, very early version of CGI to complete the movie. And I get, like I said, I know it's an unfair comparison, because 1978, they didn't have CGI. But like,
no, but there are clever ways to get around stuff. I just don't think they tried very hard. Because
I don't think they tried either.
Because, like, I don't know. It's like, I'm complaining about them not trying, but I don't think they should have done it in the first place. So
agreed.
The fact that they're like going out of their way to create the story around these last 15 minutes is insane to me. Like, I don't know, man. It was just bad, and it's like, and this was silly. I knew this complaint was going to be silly when I thought of it, when I was watching it, but I'm like, the guy that got to play the Bruce Lee character didn't even like work out. Like, he's like not ripped. You know what I mean? Like he's not
Yeah.
in shape. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. See, okay. Going back to the movie itself. So I thought what they were going to try to do, because they kept calling him Billy Lowe. I thought it was going to be revealed that he was like the stunt double, and that we were going to follow but he was going to get confused with Bruce Lee, and that we were going to follow him the whole
Well, that's
movie. And
interesting.
then at the last second, Bruce is going to be like, "Oh, hey, that's been my stunt double this whole time," you know. But I was just like, "Oh, that's not even the fucking direction that they went." It, I see why Criterion included this in the set as a way to be like, this is how bad it got.
But I mean, it's still iconic, right? The yellow suit is iconic somehow,
mm-hmm.
right? Somehow
Yeah.
people in 1978 made it through to the last 15 minutes, the last 20 minutes, and they got to see like Bruce Lee do his stuff, right? Maybe they're like us. Maybe they're like, when is he gonna show up? Because like, you know, oh, Jesus Christ, I just hated this movie so much. And I would fully like, I would probably give half a star on Letterboxd. I haven't rated it yet, but I would probably give it half a star if it wasn't for those last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes, it's rad. I mean, it was like, it almost made me a little sad because I'm like, this is what the whole movie should have been like.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that it wasn't. And I hate that they decided to go move forward with the movie and complete it and like do this whole thing because it's unwatchable. Like I was so bored by the story. I was so bored by the action. I'm like, I'm not even paying attention anymore because I'm like, it doesn't matter, you know? like
Yeah.
like the story doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like it makes no sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you see, and then you finally see him, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
And I got excited, you know?
yeah, I do. And those fight scenes rip. Even like him against Kareem, bro.
Dude, Kareem's great.
Well,
you know?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Bruce Lee actually trained him. Like,
makes sense.
Before, like Bruce Lee, he was a student of Bruce Lee when he was teaching actors kung fu.
Cool.
He taught Kareem kung fu, and dude, I was like, that's so fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
And I don't know like what kind of trickery are there. Like I know Kareem. I don't know him personally, you know.
I wish.
But I know he's very tall, dude.
He is.
I heard he's like the nicest guy in the world. But I know he's very tall. But I feel like they were doing some trickery because I'm like, there ain't no way he's like 8 foot, like towering over Bruce Lee.
Well, Bruce is short too, so it's like
that. Yeah,
because he's probably under 5'10". So next to Kareem, who's like 7 feet tall, you know,
I know. Dude.
It's just a massive difference.
And he still get Kareem's ass.
Yeah, of course. Which is why it's so insulting that his character gets his ass kicked by that thuggish mob guy. You know? Like, what are you doing? You know?
I know, dude. And then I hate that they changed because Kareem was supposed to be like the final boss of the pagoda. And I hate that they changed it to that fucking guy with the stick knife, dude.
Sure.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Right.
And dude, and like, okay. Again, getting back on the subject of the movie, this syndicate honestly is not that terrifying.
No.
Like, they have an old man with a hearing aid running the show. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, who, like, is, you know, to quote our boy Justin Theroux from American Psycho, like, he wants everyone, you know, to think he's this old codger. But he is. Like, I don't understand. And, like, clearly the guy with the cane is the one really running the show. He knows what the fuck is going on.
Sure.
I just, what the fuck, dude? And you're gonna tell me a bunch of white guys are running a syndicate out of Hong Kong,
Yeah.
and the Chinese syndicate's not gonna find it? What the fuck are we like? Are you kidding me? Like, how very full of ourselves. Like, and again, I know it's because they had 2 American filmmakers pretty much helming this project. Like, it just what the
Well,
fuck?
I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, so there's a couple of things I like about this movie. One of them is, of course,
Okay.
Bruce Lee in the final fight scenes. Those are amazing.
Yeah, of course.
But Gig Young, as Jim Marshall. So Gig Young, he is a Twilight Zone alum. So I saw him and I was like, oh, like I literally just watched one of his episodes like a week ago. Walking Distance, what is it called? And so it was cool to see him. Like I was like, okay, cool. Like I like and respect this guy, right? But yeah, man. And then there was another actor. Let me see if I can find his name because he was in the first couple of movies. He was in The Big Boss. James Tien.
Oh,
yeah,
James Tien.
Yeah, James Tien. He was he was in The Big Boss and Fist of Fury.
Who he was supposed to have a bigger role in Bruce's version of Game of Death, but they just took his fight with Kareem, and they're like, yeah, you remember what happened to Charlie Wang?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, y'all couldn't come up with anything else.
Like,
what is this fucking Charlie Countryman over here or some shit?
Yeah, I was going into it. I promise to the audience, Zach especially, I promise I was going in with an open mind. I was like, I'm excited to see how they pull this off, because this movie's not terribly rated. I mean, it's like on IMDb it's a 5.9, which isn't great, but it's not the lowest I've ever seen. It's like to me this is a 3 and below. For an IMDb rating, it should be that low. I think, at the end, that's what people are going to remember. They're going to remember the fight scenes. They're going to remember the retrospective at the end. And that's, of course, going to be like, maybe that movie wasn't that bad,
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. I think that's what's keeping people kind of going back to this movie is the last 15 minutes. Now, granted, I'm sure they suffer through to get to the last 15 minutes, but yeah,
it's egregious.
Because I wanted to see, because like I discussed last week, there's a Game of Death redo from 2019, and it said that Criterion had it, and it's on disc 5 of the box set.
Oh, okay.
And it's literally the usable stuff that they shot. They just redid the audio. Like they remixed a lot of the audio. It is dubbed because apparently Bruce wanted it to be in English and Cantonese. So Bruce, I'm assuming he spoke in English, but for whatever reason, I guess maybe the quality of his audio, they redubbed him. But I mean, the fight scenes still kick ass, and it's extended scenes that we didn't get in the 72 version.
Cool.
And again, Bruce really wanted to show, because in the third fight, he talks about like adapting. Like you have to adapt to, and I was like, man, the whole movie could have been this. Like, come on.
I know.
You said one thing you really enjoyed. I'll say one thing I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the fact that he broke that guy's fucking back, just like Baning him.
Yeah, Bane style.
That was cool as shit.
Like, I guess we could say that Bane broke Batman's back Bruce Lee style.
Yeah. Call Christopher Nolan. Like, hey, did you get that from Game of Death?
Yeah.
And Nolan's like, Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only watched the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, like I didn't watch the rest of it. Like good, like the rest of us. Yeah, man, yeah, kind of a bummer to end on this series.
It's what it is.
But
It's like, do you remember? I also, what's funny is like, this reminds me so much of when we did the Matrix trilogy or the Matrix quadrilogy, I guess.
Yeah.
And dude, I got so drunk when I was watching that one, the last one,
Oh,
that
Revolutions.
I fell asleep and I missed like 10 minutes.
Dude, and I've seen that movie multiple times. Like I've seen
That's
that movie 3
insane.
times. Once when it
That's insane.
I had because I watched it when it premiered on Max, and I was like, there's no way I just hated that, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. There's no way. And I rewatched it a second time. I was like, yeah, no, I did.
No,
I hated it.
Didn't like it.
And then watched it a third time for the show.
Right.
And I have had. Hang on, everyone. We'll get back to Game of Death.
Yeah.
I've had heated discussions with Mom about that fucking movie, and I'm like, Mom, all the Wachowskis did, well, particularly Lana, she just rehashed the first movie. She just took the first movie and was like, yeah, we can do that a second time, and we'll just tweak a couple of things. Because no, if you want to hear that rant, everyone go listen to that episode. Game of Death. You know what? It's a bummer that we ended with this movie, but at the same time, it does make me appreciate the other four more.
Absolutely.
For sure, Enter the Dragon is the best fucking kung fu movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like that shit's rad,
dude. Yeah, shit's rad.
And I will for sure, I might make Ashley watch it. Especially since it's not subbed in any way that she can watch it, in English. Because I think she'd enjoy it. I think she'd really enjoy it, and hopefully maybe that would make her be like, "Well, what's these other movies?" Like, hell yeah, let's watch these other movies, dude. But not Game of Death. No, never Game of Death. Well, and it makes me not want to get the Arrow version now, knowing what this movie is, because the Arrow version, all it really has is it just has like an almost 3-hour documentary on how they made Game of Death. Which I'm like, that seems kind of interesting, but do I want to waste 3 hours on a fucking like not even subpar movie? I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
And again, I'm gonna play devil's advocate just a smidge.
Sure.
I know they were just trying to honor Bruce, but I think the more honorable thing would have been either A, like I said earlier, release the 30 minutes that you had as like a short film with a blurb at the beginning of like, this is what this movie could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Release that 30 minutes, boom. People would have seen it. They would have loved it.
Yeah.
There you go. Or 2, you don't release it. Or you don't release it until like our time, when it's time to, celebrate Bruce. Like, hey, like, here's a project that but I also get it, And the one thing we hadn't really talked about, and I'll just touch on it now, is this movie sparked what became known as, I'm going to try to pronounce it without having an aneurysm, Bruceploitation films.
Bruceploitation. Okay.
Bruceploitation, which I didn't know was a fucking word until I was doing research for this movie, and I was like, oh, that tracks. I had to explain to Ashley what that was. I was like, like blaxploitation. She was like, I was like, oh god. Like, well, let me explain that real quick. Yeah, dude, it's crazy how I think for a good like 10 years they made these movies of saying like, starring Bruce Lee, L.I., and it just if anything, I would say that's disrespectful to Bruce's memory.
Agreed.
Again, I'm going to play devil's advocate and say that this was them trying to honor him, but it still missed the mark, you know?
Yeah, like I agree with you that it made me appreciate the other four more.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I liked those already, but yeah, it in the retrospective was nice at the end.
Yeah.
You know, I just like wish, I don't know, I just wish it went down a different way, because like now that we're reaching the end of this whole thing, you know, it's like, what have we learned? We've learned that Bruce Lee was incredible and
Mm-hmm.
dedicated, and you know, he loved what he did, and he wanted to do it at its highest peak and its perfection. And this, you know, this just wasn't it, and that's a shame.
Agreed. You know, what we saw across these four films is someone who worked their ass off to prove that they were worthy of star power. You know, that like, hey, I did this because this is what I want to do. And like, you know, I'm deserving of it. And again, you know, I said it in last week's episode, you know, it's very morbidly um not more it's just sad to know that both Bruce and his son
Mm-hmm.
will work so hard for projects and then they don't get to see the fruits of those labor.
Yeah.
You know, it's really sad. um but you know, man, but again, having never seen Bruce Lee films until now, you know, I have this new appreciation for him. And you know, man, I kind of want to check out some Green Hornet now and see how cool that shit is, you know.
Sure.
But for sure, yeah, for sure, this was kind of a bummer way to end this end of season series, you know.
That's all right.
Yeah. Well, that being said, man, you know, here we are at the end
Yeah.
of season 11. You're really excited about season 12.
Yeah.
So much so that, you know, everyone, we're not going to be taking our normal break of, you know, about 2 to 3 weeks. Jeremy's ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, we might take a week. Sure. I don't care.
Yeah.
But because we got to make the new cover art and everything.
Yeah.
So but okay. I already know what our season premiere is going to be. So so I thought I would tell you and tell the audience, that way that they have that to prepare if they want to watch it before, you know, they listen, or rewatch it, probably in this case, because, you know, if you haven't seen it, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because, you know, and I have a few that I already have for next season that I'm ready to do, that I'm excited about, and it's gonna be a bunch of fun. Yeah, but anyway, so next season, a little tease. Next season, it's my usual thing. I'm just picking whatever my heart says, right? I consult the crystals, you know. I'm like, what am I gonna do? And but what I didn't need any persuading on, or like I didn't really have to think about it that much, was what the season premiere is. So next season, for our first episode of season 12, we are going to be discussing, and I'm so excited, Ryan Coogler's Sinners. For
yes! Let's fucking go, dude.
So yeah.
Oh, any reason to rewatch that movie. Dude, I'm so fucking excited, man. You know, you told me, I'm not going to say what you actually told me, but you were like, dude, you're going to be so excited. And I was like, you know, he says that a lot, and oftentimes I am, but other times I'm not. I was like, but you know, we're going to keep an open mind. Dude, fucking Sinners, man. God, I was talking about that movie recently, and someone told me they hadn't seen it, and I felt like I felt like the Chick-fil-A girl meme, you know, the whole like, oh, you. I was like, you haven't seen Sinners? And they're like, no. I'm like, it's on HBO Max. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Yeah, dude, Sinners is fucking rad.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you. I think I did tell you. I made Mom watch it. But she was like, I don't want it to be scary. I'm like, it's not. I'm like, if anything, even as much as I love this movie, could have been scarier.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I don't consider it scary at all.
But it's still so fucking good.
Yeah.
God, it's so good. Hell yeah, man. You know, here, and I'm gonna give you a little tease for me as well. Because as I told you, much like what you're doing for season 12, I'm also just gonna wherever my heart takes me. But there is a theme. But I'm not gonna tell you the theme.
That's fine.
I want you to figure it out. And I think I've told you, because Mom knows the theme, and she's openly told me he's gonna be so mad at you.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's if he figures it out. And I'm gonna try to throw you off. I'm gonna do my best to kind of throw you off a little bit. But of course, you won't get to know my first pick until after we do Sinners. And now that I know we're doing Sinners, like, fuck, dude, it's gonna. Hopefully no one is like, are you fucking kidding me? Or who knows, maybe everyone will be like, hell yeah. But cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Sinners. So excited now. Dude, this is what's gonna spike that this episode. Everyone's gonna be starting.
Also, that's why I didn't want to take a super long break, because I wanted to keep it in February.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Hell yeah, dude. All right, everyone. Well, we hope you enjoyed our end of season series on Bruce Lee's greatest hits. And we will see you for season 12 with our opening episode, Sinners.